The student loan forgiveness is what he's calling it. Except it's not really a forgiveness, is it, though? I mean, somebody's got to pay for it. My favorite thing, and I've gone through all of this, so I'm just not in the mood for some uneducated drive-by who didn't put in all the work that we did, doesn't read things regularly, and thinks that this statistic isn't true and that it's literally mostly grad school debt and it's from people who come from, the upper crust. Those aren't my numbers. Those are Department of Education numbers. Because remember, the federal government, led by Hiawatha up in Massachusetts, she and Schmerney Sanders were the people who decided that, hey, you know what's awesome for the government to control more things? Let's have them control student loans, and then let's vote to centralize all of that. And all the people today that bitch and moan about the cost of student loans, but yet drive around with Democrat stickers on the bumpers of their cars, that's like chickens driving around with a sticker for Colonel Sanders. It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Like, really, you're going to complain about the cost of student loans, and yet you voted for the people that made it centralized where the government controls it, thus driving up the price astronomically. This is why aliens don't visit us, because stupidity is a disease, and we are afflicted. I wouldn't visit us either. You better be glad that I'm not an alien. I would have already blown us up. I would have been like, these people are too stupidly dangerous. Kaboom. It would have already been done. It would have been like Star Wars, blowing up Leia's planet. It would have just been done. Calderon, right? So Alderaan. It was Alderaan. So the student loan forgiveness, that's going to cost quite a bit. In fact, I was looking at some of the, he botched it, He said that no one with an undergraduate loan today or in the future is going to have to pay more than 5% of their income to repay. Where did these people get these like completely arbitrary numbers from? Why 5%? If you really thought that this was going to be, if you really loved people, then what you would do is you would have it as, well, just don't pay anything back, right? I mean, it's $9 billion. It's just going to disappear. We're just going to write it away. Wait, you mean the teachers in the universities are going to teach for free? Because I told you, what was it? Monday? Tuesday? I said that this is going to be a really bad week for people because you have all the student loan stuff that's going to be coming due, right? All that's starting up again. They had a 3-year plus pause. Don't you wish you could pause all your stuff? We still had to all pay taxes. Isn't that fun? But they had a 3-year pause due to the pandemic that they caused. And so now they have to, everybody was getting a bill showing how much they're going to have to pay 21 days before the due date. So I think most everybody received their bill yet. So that was going to be very difficult for Democrats going into an election year to manage. Oh my gosh, everybody's paying student loans again. What are you going to do, Daddy McShowers? What are you going to do, Daddy Biden? What's happening? So they decided, poof, we're going to make it bippity boppity boo go away. $9 billion for 125,000 Americans. That's how he says they fix stuff like the income-driven repayment plans and public service loan forgiveness. They said this is from, I think this is, CNBC. More than $5 billion of the aid is going to go to 53,000 borrowers who've worked in public service for government people. 2.8 billion. So you're paying government people and then you're paying the debts of government people. Isn't that lovely? Can I claim them as dependents? I feel like, and this is an unpopular opinion, maybe. I don't care. If you disagree with it, I don't want to be your friend. I don't care if you like me. I feel like I should be able to claim anybody that whose salary is from my tax dollars as a dependent. Don't you think, Kane, isn't that nice? I think we should do that.
Seems legally in line with what's going on.
Yeah, I'm telling you. So more than $5 billion of the aid, like I said, you're looking at government workers. $2.8 billion of the forgiveness is for 51,000 borrowers enrolled in these income-driven repayment plans. And then $1.2 billion is going to go to another 22,000. So your tax dollars, because he fixed all these programs, fixed them. Really? I'm sure he did. Wink, wink. And his surrogates are going, Biden has forgiven more student loan debt. Forgiven. Wait a minute. You're not the Lord. What is this? These are not sins, and you are not the Lord. You don't get to say, and you are forgiven. By the way, when you say that you're forgiving someone something, I mean, just automatically, let's look at the sentence structure for a moment, shall we? I forgive you of the sin of stupidly paying an exorbitant amount of money for a degree that you most likely won't ever use. Right? That's the one thing I can't stand. The investment of the dollars into education. If you're not using your degree, I told my youngest son when he was going into tech stuff, because he got scholarships. He got a lot of scholarships. So at first he didn't want to go to college. He was like, it's a racket. But then they gave him all this money because he's a brain. And he's like, my free money, might as well take it. I'm not gonna base it. I'm basically not paying anything. Might as well go do it. So, why not take it, right? He's like, I'm grifting them. So anyway, so that's why he's in college. But the act, like for instance, I am not kidding you. When I was a freshman in college, I had, what class was it? I'm trying to remember. Oh, I was a freshman in college. I kid you not. This was literally the name of the class. And I dropped it because it was so stupid. Women in Renaissance France. Your head jerked, Kane. You okay? That was a reaction.
Yeah, trying to figure out what the practical life value of that class would be.
Exactly, right? Like women in... I like learning about history. I love history. But I like learning about this stuff on my own time. You know what I'm saying? Like I read all kinds of stuff. I've read all kinds of stuff about, Renaissance Spain and Italy and France and everything else. And I don't need a class to do it. But it was weird because the whole class was structured like the church hates women. And look, it hated women back then. That's not really what I thought I was signing. I ended up dropping it because the teacher was annoying and she had dirty feet and Birkenstocks. I kid you not. You guys know I have a thing with feet. Maybe 50% of the reason was I was like, this chick don't even scrub her toes. This is so gross. Couldn't sit there in class. I was so distracted. I was looking at her nasty feet. Anyway, so there was a girl that I had met. I dropped it like the first week, but a girl that I sat next to, she literally, and this is before I ever even heard that this was a course of study, was going into basically women's studies. Studying women. I'm like, you're a chick. Are you going to go and operate on them? Like, are you going to go be an OBGYN? What is the point of this? What purpose does this serve? It sounds like you're going for a bitching degree. That's what it sounds like. You're going to go for a doctorate in nagging. That's what it sounds like to me. And this is all rolling through my mind. Now, mind you, when I was a freshman in college, I still thought of myself as a liberal because I was raised as a liberal. And then it wasn't until I met I met actual conservatives in college. That was literally the first time I ever met Republicans or conservatives. I'm not kidding you. You think I'm exaggerating? I am not. And it was like an awakening. But this chick I'm sitting next to, she was outlining, she was going to go into the grift that was women's studies. So she could then go and teach the grift. That's a grift. That's a whole scheme, man. And she was telling me that she wasn't the best student, so she didn't get a lot of scholarships. But thankfully, her parents were rich. She grew up in a pretty Tony part of St. Louis. A lot of old money. The Huntley area. Kane, you know that area. That's some old money area. This chick didn't even get her parents were paying for her to go to a good school and get a degree in bitching. That's what it was. And I'm like, the whole time, the wheels in my mind are turning. And I'm like, none of this makes sense. You're spending all this money and then you're going to go teach this grift to other stupid chicks who don't understand what this core study is. And she's like, yeah. And then she was talking about how her parents said if she went after her associate, she had to pay it for herself. And then she was telling me all the student loans she was going to take out. She's going to go into debt for this. She was going to go into debt for this. At least her parents were smart enough to be like, we're only going to pay for 2 years of this snake oil. This is what people go to. It's like PCU, which, by the way, everyone should be required as a condition of living in America to watch PCU. It's an older movie with Jeremy Piven. and it literally makes fun of all of the woke. This movie made fun of wokery and social activism long before it became a thing to make fun of. It was the literal first. And it's about this university, politically correct university, and all the different groups that protest. And there's one point where they just want to have a party, dude. He wants to have a party. He's got George Clinton and P-Funk coming to play at his party. And he just, and he's selling off research papers to these grad students that are coming in, right? And this one grad student comes in, he's charging money for it, and that's what they're using to buy their beer and all that. And he's like, okay, what are you studying? This dude goes, Sanskrit. And Jeremy Piven's character takes a beat, and he's like, you're studying a 25,000 or 2,000-year-old dead language? And he's like, get out, get out. It was hysterical. That's literally what we're dealing with here. It's PCU. PCU was a prophecy. Before The Simpsons was a prophecy, before South Park was a prophecy, it was PCU. That should be your homework this weekend, is to watch PCU. That is your homework. And I want to get your emails about it. I want to hear about it in the chat. I want Lorraine to tell me. I want to hear about it on Twitter. I want to hear about it on Facebook. And I want you to email me. That is your homework this weekend, is watching PCU. I may not be able to get Kane to play Vermintide, but by God, I'm going to get him to watch PCU. This is literally the whole student loan thing right here. Like, for instance, his surrogates are going, oh, well, this distinguishes him from candidates who are campaigning for the nation. What, giving away money? Who do you think pays for this stuff? Who pays for this? $9 billion in quote unquote forgiveness. When you're a God, you are a God. You can forgive people of their sins. When you're Joe Biden, you are not omnipotent. You don't get to just forgive people of $9 billion of debt that they chose to willingly assume on themselves and sign for. I ain't out there making people pay for my mortgage, am I? No. I'm not out there making people pay for stuff that I need to get done, am I? No. I'm not doing any of that. I'm not demanding that people pay my bills. Say, why the hell are these people demanding that people? You voted for this. And then Biden's like, oh, well, we're going to give you the free money, so you keep voting for us, the people who made this all a poo-nado in the first place.